There is a trifecta reality to the UFO cover-up for most UFO believers, consisting of non-human intelligence is here, the presence of non-human intelligence is covered up by at least some governments, the United States government has poured at least billions of dollars into studying UFOs over many decades. Let's analyze these three factors making up the UFO believer trifecta, starting with the first factor. Non-human intelligence is here. So skeptics will often say that there are two primary factors that compel them to believe non-human intelligence is not here. One is that if it was here, we would simply all know. The institutions of our world would know, and yet they all unanimously contend there is no non-human intelligence engaging our world. The second factor they cite is that the distance between solar systems are so vast that it's very unlikely other beings from other planetary systems have successfully made the voyage from so many light years away to our planet. Now, let's examine the second of the UFO believer trifecta. That is, the presence of non-human intelligence is covered up by at least some governments. One of the great skeptic tropes is that there simply is no way that the United States government, or any government for that matter, would be capable of covering up such a groundbreaking truth about our reality. So they don't even believe a cover-up could be successful, let alone we're being visited by aliens. Finally, let's analyze the third UFO believer trifecta. The United States government has poured at least billions of dollars into studying UFOs over many decades. Now, this one for skeptics relates to their skepticism that knowledge of a non-human presence could possibly be covered up by any world government, simply because it's one thing for a government to cover up knowledge of not being alone. It's an additional leap, as they see it, to insulate the purported fact that the US government has multiple secret UFO study programs getting funded billions of dollars by American taxpayers. Now, why is this all extremely significant and poignant? The reason is because it really blasts to smithereens a notion that skeptics may feel drawn to make in a post-disclosure world. That notion being that even a broken clock is right twice daily. The problem with this notion is that skeptics never stated they are exclusively dubious that we're not alone, meaning Earth is being engaged. They go far beyond that. They state that if we were being engaged, we'd all know about it. They state that it's highly unlikely that another intelligence could successfully travel such vast distances. They state that a government successfully covering up such a reality is utterly ridiculous. They don't disappoint and go further, however, and state that we're approaching pure fantasy to give weight to the idea that there are legacy UFO programs within the United States government that have been funded billions of dollars over many decades. And let's put some icing on the cake, shall we? Because I'm a little bit hungry. Oh, sorry. I thought you enjoyed watching me lick icing. Now for the icing on the cake, the metaphorical one. They would also say that if the US government had retrieved a whole or partial alien vehicle, there is not any chance that the US government would be able to insulate that reality from the rest of the world for 70 plus years. So if us UFO believers end up being right about a UFO cover-up, then the notion of a broken clock right twice daily wouldn't have any hope of applying to us. They, the skeptics, would have to alter their expression to a broken clock is right 7 times a day. But we know that's not the case. Conclusion: our powers of analysis can never legitimately be likened to a broken clock. UFO believers harness the power of inference and logic intelligently. That's about it. Sometimes the truth hurts. See you in the next video. Special thanks to all the patrons and YouTube members that make this video possible, and everyone that watches my video and gives me a voice. God bless you, and see you next time.